Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon you. This is a short presentation from www.central-mosque.com and from the Humble Heart YouTube channel about organ donation and the upcoming change in the law to a presumed consent opt-out system. My postgraduate dissertation was on organ donation. I've seen a lot of messages flying around from people, and some of the information isn't accurate. So what I'm going to do is I've re-reviewed the law, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible in this presentation for you to make your choices. Before we begin, uh, if you or your loved ones or your family or friends or someone that you know or care about is suffering, I make dua for them that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them full and speedy recovery, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring ease to their pain and suffering. And I ask everyone who's listening to this presentation, so please do the same, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them recovery. Ameen. So when it comes to organ donation systems in the world, there have really always been three choices. You can choose to donate your organs, you can choose not to donate your organs, but because a lot more organs are needed, there's a third system which was talked about, and it is fiercely debated in ethics and morality whether this is right or wrong. However, in order to drive up the available organs, the system is called, the full name is opt-out presumed consent. What that means is the state or the government assumes that you're going to donate the organs unless and until you opt out. Okay, so the law which is changing, it is called opt-out, but the full name is opt-out presumed consent. So your consent is presumed. So remember, in a lot of things in life, people ask you for your consent, and they don't do anything until you provide consent. For example, your children are going on some trip from the school, and the school says, please provide your consent. Without your consent, your children are not going to be able to go, or whatever the situation may be. In this particular case, your consent is presumed. So you need to opt out and actively say, no, I don't want to do that. And if you don't do that, it's assumed that your consent is present. Now, from a moral and ethical point of view, I have a serious problem with that, and I will talk about it in the later slides. But this is the law which England is bringing in. Wales has already got opt out. So, when you study this in the university, and you write dissertations on it like I did, there are a lot of patient cases that you study, and a lot of them are emotional, and they tug at your heartstrings and so on. So this law is actually named, the one that's coming into England is called Max and KEIRA law. So Max was a 9-year-old boy who needed a heart transplant. KEIRA was a 9-year-old girl who died in a car accident. So Max received KEIRA's heart in August 2017, and that is why the law is named after both of these children, Max and KEIRA. And opt-out becomes a law in spring 2020, which is this year, in England. So the first thing is the provisions in the law that say, are there any exceptions? Yes, there are 3 exceptions. If you're under 18, it does not apply to you. If you lack the mental capacity, i.e., the doctors or the nurses, or if it ever goes to court, the court basically judges that the person does not have the mental capacity to give a consent, then it does not apply to you. And people who have lived in England for less than 12 months or are in England for some sort of forced scenario or not living by their own free will, also this law does not apply to them. So those are the 3 exceptions in the law. So if your children are under 18, you don't need to worry about it, and so on and so forth. So what happens if you do not opt out? Will the NHS or to be specific, the organ transplant body, will they take your organs? The answer is the government is saying no at this point, and they said even if you do not opt out, your family would always be involved before your donation is taken place, and it is really important that you choose whether you want to be a donor or not. So basically, at the time of someone's death, the government is saying the family will still have a choice to not give away their organs. Also, their faiths and beliefs will be taken into consideration. It is true. However, when someone passes away, it's a very stressful situation. Do you really want to put your family into that scenario where, in addition to burial and all the other arrangements, they're also chasing up forms to fill out? Well, yeah, I know my granddad or my grandmother didn't opt out, but she didn't want to donate her organs. It's a very stressful situation, and it is not the right decision to be made at this time. So if you're involved in your community or your local mosque, you know it is a very traumatic time for the families. And what everyone should do is try to ease their pain, try to take away some of the paperwork and everything else, or try to make the decision process away from them so they can concentrate on burial, they can concentrate on relatives and families and friends who are coming over. So they organ donation should be the last thing on your mind, really. Now, here's my problem with it, which I argued in my postgraduate dissertation. From an ethical, moral point of view, okay, I am not going to discuss Islam here. You can choose to go to the Mufti of your choice, whether you are Deobandi, Barelvi, Salafi, Shia, whoever you are. Go to your scholars, of the scholars whom you trust, and ask their opinion about organ donation. I am not going to go there. But what I have a very serious problem with is when the government begins to make choices for you. You, and you alone should have the right. Do you want to donate your organs or not? That should be your choice. It should be done, with full knowledge, information available, and you should provide consent if you wish to donate your organ, and you should not donate your organ if you do not wish to. The government should absolutely, positively not assume consent on your behalf. That's a very, very serious issue, and I have a problem with that. I wrote that in my dissertation, and as I'm saying, I'm not alone. There are thousands of doctors and nurses. We realize there's a shortage of organs. Everybody realizes that, but consent should not be assumed from you at all. So I'm pleading with you to go out and opt out, because from the government should not take that choice away from you. If you want to consult, a mufti or a scholar, a maulana, a sheikh of your choice, as I said, I'm not going to dictate that to you. If you're a Deobandi, a Salafi, Barelvi, whatever school of thought you follow, go consult the scholars and make that choice. It is your right. It is not the right of the government to take that decision away from you. Absolutely not. Opt out and then actively choose to donate the organs if you want to, or not to donate your organs if you want to. Opt out. So in the description of this video, you're going to have a link, right? You should have the power to make that decision. Nobody else should have the power to make that decision for you. So this is what I am saying. Here's a link. It's going to be in the description of this video. So you should opt out, because if you don't, then at the time of your passing away, in fact, you should do that for people in your family, or assist people in their family. Discuss this within your family circles, the people who are older than you, people who are the younger than you, and everybody should opt out. Then make an active, calculated, discussed, deliberated decision to donate the organs or not to donate the organs. Next, the link is going to be in the description of this video. Next, I'm going to show you how it is actually done. So my suggestion, my plea to you is, please opt out. Jazakallah. Let's now watch what happens and how you opt out. The link is in there in the description. Click on it, follow this video to the end. So it's actually quite simple to opt out of organ donation. So what you do is, as I told you, the link is in the description of this video. You come in, you give your details. So Mr. There's a whole bunch of other titles, so if it applies to you, go right ahead, pick the title of your choice. Mr. Alexander Johnson de Pfeifel, or known as Boris Johnson. Date of birth 19th of June 1964, male, and then you pick your address. So what you do is you put in your postcode, click search, and off you go. Pick your address, 10 Downing Street, give it your email, your telephone number, your mobile number, your preferred contact, ethnicity, white, other, religion, none. You tick that I have read the privacy statement and give consent to the use of my information, and you just simply click submit. I do not want to donate my organs, and that is it. You have opted out. You need to do that individually for everyone who's concerned in your family everyone who's over the age of 18. You, your wife, your parents, grandparents, etc., etc. So you opt out. As I said, from a moral and ethical point of view, I have a very serious problem with the government making the choices for you. Now, last thing, there's a lot of messages going around that you need to do that before December 31st or whatever. Nonsense. You can do this anytime. You should do that right now. It only takes literally a minute, as you can see. Put your details in there, your date of birth, your address, your email, and this is it. Or you can even say, yeah, so however you want to do that. So that is all you got to do. Submit. So let's see if you say you opt out by email, what happens then? So I opted out, and I basically put in my personal email, which is not this one. This is a website. You can contact us anytime from info@central-mosque.com or go to www.central-mosque.com. And it doesn't send me any kind of email to confirm or anything like that. And that is it. So I hope you found this informative. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.